Hi guys, so in today's video, we are going to discuss the application of transportation model in aggregate planning. So, si transportation model, you have encountered this in your operations research 1 under linear programming topic. Now, rest assured that in this topic, we will be just formulating the feasible solution. Kasi if you remember from your OR, we have two phases in transportation model. So, the first one or the first phase is the feasibility solution, and then for the second phase, that's your optimization of your solution. So in our case, in aggregate planning, we are just going to arrive with a feasible solution that will yield the least cost. So given that information, so diba we have three methods or three known methods in transportation model. So we have the northwest corner rule or yung northwestern edge na method. We also have the least cost method, and then we have the Vogel's approximation method that you have discussed all in your OR. So in our aggregate planning, so we are going to make use of the method least cost method. Okay, so we should be able to arrive with a setup or a schedule that will minimize the total costs. Okay, so for our example, so we are given 3 sales periods, so from March, April to May, and then for each period we were given the demand. So we have 800 for March, 1,000 for April, and 750 for May. And then for our capacity, so we have the regular, overtime, and subcontracting, each for each sales period. So they vary accordingly. And then we also have the beginning inventory of 100 tires. So yung demand or yung units natin dito is in tires. And then we are also given the following costs. So the regular time, overtime, subcontracting, and carrying or inventory cost. Now, in order to start solving for this method or using this method, so syempre, in transportation method, we always have to make sure that we have to verify first if your supply equals your demand. Kasi if not, so you have to introduce a dummy. Diba? So that's your first rule in identifying kung kailangan ko bang mag-add ng dummy or hindi. So let's just copy yung mga values so para hindi tayo palipat-lipat ng slide. Okay. So, ayan. So, here, we have the following. So, take note, we have the demand and the supply. So, you have your demand as your columns, and then your supply as your rows. So, kapag nire-write natin yung table niyan or kapag gumawa tayo ng transportation table, so, we'll begin with the beginning inventory. So, kapag may beginning inventory na given. Pero take note that these values, ito, yung hina-highlight ko ngayon, so these are your supply. Okay? So, supply yan. That's your supply. And then, yung ating nasa taas, so these are your demand. Okay? So, again, before you begin with creating your table, we have to make sure kung ano ba yung total demand and total supply. So, para malaman natin kung anong itsura or ilang columns yung kailangan nating i-create. So, again, we just have to get the sum. So, that's your first step. So, sum of demand and supply. Okay? So, here, again, yung total demand, i-add ko lang. So, that's 800 plus 1,000 plus 750. And the value, 800, 1,000, and 750. So, that's 2,550. And then, for the supply, so, medyo marami sila. So, we have 700 plus 50 plus 150 plus 100. So this is for the month of March. And then for April, we have 700 plus 50 plus 150. And then lastly, for May, we have 700 plus 50 plus 130. So, yung sum nilang lahat, 700 times 3 plus 50 times 3 plus 150 times 2 plus 130 plus 100. So, yun yung naging technique para mas madali siyang i-punch sa Calculum. So, 2780. So, clearly, hindi equal yung demand and supply ko. So, kailangan kong magdagdag ng dummy demand. So, kasi mas marami yung aking supply kesa doon sa aking demand. So, therefore, again, dummy demand. Again, bakit dummy demand? Kasi mas marami yung supply kaysa kay demand. So, 2780 minus 2550. So, yung answer ng dummy demand natin, so that is 230 units. Okay? So, yun yung itsura niya. So, medyo yung ating mga values. So, just take note that 230 yung aking given. So, kopyahin ko lang ulit itong aking picture kasi kulang na tayo sa space. Ayan. So, lipat ko lang siya in here. So, ulitan lang natin. Ayan. Ayan. So, mag-create na tayo ng table. So, again, we start with beginning inventory. Okay? And then, sulat natin dyan yung capacities natin. So, we have your regular, overtime, and subcon or subcontracting. Now, take note that this is for the period of March. March yan. And then, for April, so ulit tayo ng sulat, regular, overtime, and subcon. So, subcon na lang. So, this is for April naman. And then, lastly, regular ulit, overtime, and subcon. And this is for May. Okay? So, kung ilang periods yung involved. So, syempre, kung 4 yung months na given sa atin or we have 4 periods, we have to also, again, add another set of rows for the 4th period. Now, take note that your columns are your period of production and your rows are your period of production and your columns are your period of consumption. So, let me write it here. Yung ating rows, that's your period of production. Kasi this represents your capacity. Diba? So, kasi yun yung regular, overtime, and subcon, including the beginning inventory. Yung columns naman natin, this is your period of consumption. So, later kasi, meron tayong concept na i-consider consumption. Kasi papasok na dito yung concept ng backlogs. Yung backlogs and yung pag-add ng extra inventory. Okay? Pero later siya. Right. So, again, we have the following rows. And then, syempre, andun yung ating last row, which is yung demand or to represent demand. Okay? So, ano ko lang siya. Separate lang natin sila ng rows. So, syempre, yung ating una, that's your period of March. So, March. Okay? So, again, separate natin. And then, we have April. And then, we have May. And then, syempre, do not forget your dummy. Sige, blue na lang siya. Dummy. And yung ating supply. Or i-red natin siya. Just to add distinction. Kaso para masyadong malaki yung space. Sud lang natin. Ayan. Masyado kasi silang ayun, crowded. Hindi pala pantay yung mga lines ko. Lang. Add natin. Dapat pare-pare sila ng length. Okay. Diba? Sud ko lang yung April. Ay, sorry. Hindi sumama lahat. And then yung May. And then yung dami. Usod ka dito. Right there. Okay? So, syempre, kung meron tayong ang tawag doon, vertical lines, you also have the horizontal lines. Yan ako na lang siya. Lighter colors. Okay. So, actually, ito talaga yung matrabaho dito kapag longhand solution, you really have to write tables in this manner. Okay. Alright. Yan. Sulat ko lang yung mga given info. So, ang sabi, ang demand ko kay March is 800. And then, kay April, we have 1,000. And then, 750. And then, yung dummy is 230. Yung supply, so 700 for the beginning inventory, ang supply natin or yung ating supply side is 100. And then, regular is 700. Overtime is 50. And then, 150 for subcon. And then, for regular ng April, we have 700 ulit. 50, 150, and then 750, and then dito lang siya naging 130. Then again, yung ating value is 2,780. Okay. So, done na tayo sa ating pagsusulat ng mga information. Ngayon, dun tayo sa pagsusulat ng mga costs. So, sa costs, may konting dito, may konting concept na sinusundan. Na una, ang beginning inventory, so dahil March siya available and i-consume din siya ng March. So, yung una kong month na babanggitin, that's your period of production. So, which is yung nasa row natin. And then yung nasa column, that's your period of consumption. So, kung kailan siya kailangan. So, available siya ng March and gagamitin siya ng March. So, therefore, wala na siya magiging carrying cost. So, kasi na-consume na siya at the same period. So, take note that you only have carrying or inventory cost kapag hindi siya agad na-consume. Meaning, nagkatagal pa siya sa warehouse or sa storage. Okay? Now, March, available siya. So, dito tayo nakatingin na. So, paano ko ba siya ha-highlight. So, dito tayo nakatingin sa side na to, ha? Ayan. So, sa side na yan, so, dahil meron akong beginning inventory at March, kung hindi ko siya mako-consume at available pa siya ng April, so, magiging inventory cost ko, magkakaroon ako ng inventory cost na equivalent to 2. So, kasi ang sabi, $2 o yung ating carrying cost. Ngayon, March. March pa rin siya available. Umabot pa siya hanggang May. So, ang magiging carrying cost niya will be 4. Okay? Now, doon tayo sa regular cost. So, March and March, so we are going to use the regular costing. So, we have 40, we have 50, and we have 70. So, March siya, pinroduce, kinonsume pa siya ng April, so magiging 42 na ito, this will be 52, and this is 72. Okay? Next. Kung March siya ginawa, and then sa May pa siya i-consume, so magiging 44 na yung aking cost ng regular, magiging 54 na to, and this will be 74. So, yun yung ibig sabihin nun. Next, dun tayo kay April. So, ibang color ang gamitin natin kay April. Pink. Okay. Yan, si April. Si April, ginawa niya. Kay March, kinonsume. Pero take note that this is only applicable. Take note ha, lalagyan nyo lang ng value dito kapag may given na backlog cost. Now, let's just say na may backlog cost. So, para hindi masyadong ma-deviate yung true answer natin. So, let's say na meron tayong extra given info. Okay? What if may backlog cost na equivalent sa 100 per period? Pag sinabi kasing backlog, so these are items na pinramis mo na i-deliver mo siya. Let's say, ngayong buwan, today is January. So, naubos na yung stocks mo. Pero, you have an order right now in January. So, mangyayari, sa February mo pa siya pwedeng i-deliver. So, backlog na yun sa'yo. Okay? So, anything na hindi mo na-produce at that time na kailangan mo siya, that is already a backlog. So, kung pinramis mo siya na, ay, next month na lang or next month ko na lang siya ma-deliver. So, that's already a backlog. Now, paano kapag may backlog cost na involved? So, yung ating regular, magkakaroon siya ng plus 100. So, kung 40 siya kanina, magiging 140 ito. Yung overtime ko, kung 50 siya, magiging 150 yon. And then, yung subcon, kung 70 siya, magiging 170. So, kasi may backlog cost siya. Okay? Now, kung given lang naman, no, na may backlog cost. Pero right now, wala namang given dun sa actual problem natin. So, kaya, wala tayong ilalagay na value doon. Now, balik tayo dun sa time. So, April and April. So, April siya ginawa. April din siya kinonsume. So, regular yung cost na gagamitin natin. Okay? Actually, meron na dyan technique. Yung diagonal niya, March to March, regular. April to April, regular costs. May to May, regular costs. Okay? Pero dito, this will be 42, 52, and 72. Again, kasi April siya, pinroduce, pero sa May pa siya dineliver. So, ibig sabihin, nagstay pa siya ng 1 month doon sa storage area ng company. So, nag-incur siya ng extra holding cost. So, yun yung ibig sabihin nun. So, kung April ginawa, April kinonsume, walang extra holding cost. Yung regular costs yung mag-a-apply. April ginawa, pero sa May pa siya i-send or ipapadala doon sa customer. So, nagstay pa siya ng 1 month doon sa storage. So, definitely, it will incur additional carrying costs. Okay? Then, syempre, we forgot about the dummy. Yung dummy is lagi namang 0 ang cost ng mga yan. Okay? So, let's highlight the next period. So, sa May. Okay? So, ang May, again, dahil walang backlog, walang value dito. Pero, ma'am, paano kapag may backlog? So, take note, May. May siya gagawin, pero kailangan mo na siya dapat nung March pa lang. Yun yung ibig sabihin na ng May and March. So, May mo siya magagawa, pero order siya nung March pa. So, ibig sabihin, 2 periods na siyang delayed. So, kaya, kung sakaling may backlog, if ever may backlog, 100 times 2, kasi 2 periods delayed na nga siya, magiging 240 ito. Ito magiging 250. Ito magiging 270. Ito naman magiging 140, magiging 150, and magiging 170. So, yun yung ibig sabihin nun. Kung may backlog. Okay? Backlog cost. Alright? Pero in this example, again, wala namang binigay na backlog. So, kaya walang costs na available. Okay? So, sa May, dahil May pinroduce, May din siya kinonsume. So, regular costs will apply. Or yung original na cost yung mag-a-apply. And again, 0 lahat yung dummy. Okay? So, yun na siya. So, done na tayo sa paglalagay ng costs. It's time for us to identify saang cell ako unang maglalagay. Na ang sabi kasi, ang concept ng ating least cost method is to only or fill out yung mga columns or yung mga cells that will provide you with the least cost. So, syempre, by prioritization yan. So, saan ba dapat siya unang ilagay? So, ganun lang ulit. So, syempre, looking at our table, hanapin yung pinakamaliit na cost. And from here, we can see na itong March yung pinakamaliit ang cost. So, uubusin natin yung ating beginning inventory. And that is consuming everything, 100. Yung ating demand naman is 800. So, magiging 700 na lang ito. 100. Okay? So, dahil ito ay 0 na, so we can say, or we can safely say na, disqualified or hindi na pwedeng lagyan yung first row. Okay? So, para hindi kayo nalilito. Next, ano yung sumunod na least ang cost? Pero, syempre, we can see here, yung dummy, yun yung parang, na siya, hindi siya yung priority na lalagyan. So, kumbaga, dun yung ilalagay yung sosobra. Pero, para unahin nyo siya, so, hindi yun yung, hindi yun yung role ng dummy. Okay? Now, ano ang sunod na maliit na cost? So, we can see here, na yung 40, so di ba marami tayong 40 na marami tayong 40 na nakikita, pero syempre unahin natin yung urgently needed, which is ma-complete lahat ng orders ng March. Okay? So, 700 sa regular, 700 din doon sa aking demand. So, we can say na siya ay fully consumed na. That is 700. 700. So, dahil ubos na to, ubos na rin yun. So, ibig sabihin, hindi na ako maglalagay sa column, sa rows na to. Okay? So, wala nang ilalaman dyan. So, yung natitira na lang na workable area is yung mga white cells. Okay? Okay. Ayan siya. Okay? So, next. Sino or aling cell ang pinakamaliit? So, we can see na itong 40 yung unang cell na maliit yung value. So, again, 700 and 1,000. Siyempre, pwede kong makonsume yung buong 700 and ima-minus ko lang siya sa 1,000 kaya siya magiging 300. So, this is 700. Okay? So, fully consumed na yung row nun. So, kaya hindi na ako maglalagay dun sa row na yon. Next, ano ang sunod na maliit na number? So, yung maliit na number is yung sumunod na 40. So, yung sumunod na 40, we have 700. So, pwede kong fully consume kasi 750 yung nasa isang side. So, yung magiging remaining is 50. And this is fully consumed if 700 ilalagay ko doon. So, hindi na rin ako maglalagay sa cell na yon. Okay? Anong sunod na white cell na pwede kong paglagyan? So, 50 yung aking nakikita na pinakamaliit na number. And yung 50 is itong number na to. So, we have 50 and we have 300. So, we can fully consume this para matira yung 250 doon. So, we have 50 there. Okay? So, dahil fully consumed na yung row na yon, so, hindi ko na rin siya lalagyan later. Next na number na maliit is yung 50. So, yung 50 ulit. So, that is, pwede kong i-fully consume yung 50 and fully consumed yung 50. So, 0 na to, 0 na doon, we have 50. So, again, highlight lang natin. Hindi na tayo maglalagay sa columns na ito kasi ubos na yung supply ko or yung demand ko for May. So, ang susunod na lang is yung demand natin for April. So, paano ko siya ma-fully consume? So, ano yung mga sumunod or ano yung mga sales na may maliit na cost? So, we can see na yung 52, yung sumunod na maliit yung cost, and we have 50, and then yung kanyang katapat is 250. So, may matitira pang 200. So, consume natin yung 50. So, hindi na din pwedeng lagyan yung laman na yon. So, kasi 0 na siya. Next, 70 yung nakikita kong sunod na cell na may pinakamaliit na number. So, 70, and then may laman pa, may 150 pa to. Ito, 200 pa. So, pwede ko nang i-fully consume, and may matitirang 50 doon. So, I have 150. Okay? And then, syempre, finally, ito na lang naman yung natitirang cell na pwede kong lagyan. So, we have 150 pa dito. Ito, pwede ko nang i-fully consume. So, I have 50. Pero dito, may natirang 100. But take note, ang main goal naman natin is to fully utilize the demand for the period. So, dahil ubos na for March, ubos na for April, ubos na rin for May, yung matitira natin na supply will be going to the dummy column. Okay? So, may dummy column tayo, 100 dito, and then this is 130. So, ito yung mga naging dummy columns natin. Kasi meron pa akong 100 doon, and then ito, meron pa akong 130. Okay? So, sa pag-compute ng total cost, so lahat lang ng highlighted in yellow will just get the product sum. So, 100, so yung total cost. So, 100 times 0 plus 700 times 40 plus yung aking 50 times 52 plus 50 times 72 plus 700 times 40 plus 50 times 50 plus 150 times 70 plus 700 times 40 plus 50 times 50. So, syempre, yung dami, hindi ko na-include doon sa computation ng costs ko. Ay, sorry. Na wala siya. Ayan. So, yung kanyang total value, so that's 700 times 40 plus 50 times 52, then 50 times 72 plus 700 times 40 plus 50 times 50 plus 150 times 70 plus 700 times 40 plus 50 times 50. So, the answer is $105 ito. This is $105, $700. Okay? So, that's the final answer for our solution here. Now, just to browse the slides. So, actually, ito yung pinaka-table niya. Ayan. So, just a guide. So, ayan. So, sa beginning inventory, 0 siya. Kapag nagkaroon or na-carry na siya on the next period, saka siya mag-i-incur ng carrying cost. So, kung 2 periods na siyang carried, so, times 2 yung ating holding cost or carrying cost. So, ganun din dito. Ayan. So, meron din siyang mga backlogs. Dinagdag yung backlog cost, and then, kapag 2 periods na siyang delayed or late, so, times 2 yung ating backlog cost. Okay? And then, ayan, so actually, ito yung answer ng reference book natin. Pero, if you look closely, we have different answers. Pero, if you want to recalculate this one, so ito, sige, calculate natin ano yung magiging total cost kung ito yung sinunod natin na solution. So, compare lang natin kung magkano yung naging expense ng nitong model na to doon sa model na ginawa natin. Okay? So, we have 72 times 150 plus 40 times 700 and then 50 times 50, 70 times 50 plus 40 times 700 and then 50 times 50. So, yung answer nito is 105,000. So, yung answer here, again natin, is 105,900. So, take note of our answer, ha? 105,900 yung answer ng reference natin. And then, yung answer natin kanina is 105,700. So, mas mura yung ating solution ng $200. Okay? So, yun lang yung difference niya. So, kasi iba yung iba yung naging method. I think, more on northwest corner yung ginamit niya. So, yan o, kita nyo naman doon sa naging pattern, di ba? Parang siya, yung hagdan ba? Ayun, yun yung kasi nasunod sa kanya. Yung sa atin kasi is more on the least cost method. So, what more if you want to optimize the solution? So, it will yield with a smaller cost. Okay? Pero sa Excel na natin gagawin yan soon. Okay? So, yun lang yung ating discussion for the transportation model application in aggregate planning. Okay? So, I will see you on the next video. Bye!